Welcome back, you guys, to the Canadian Spartan Podcast. We've got a brand new guest on here, probably a familiar face if you follow Spartan. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'm going to let Jordan introduce himself. Hi, Jordan. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. My name is Jordan Two-Axe Kohoko. I'm from a reserve called Pikwakanagan. We're 2 hours west of Ottawa.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's a little far from me.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm in Brantford.
Oh, Brantford? Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got to travel quite a bit to race then, yeah?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. The closest race is Calabogie.
Hmm.
That's a pretty fun event. I
Yeah.
think this year was my third year, I believe, or fourth year, I think. Yeah, fourth year. I've been in
Hmm.
Spartan 4 years now.
Nice. And you've had quite the climb too, in Spartan. I know I've kind of been following what you've been doing. I know you've done a lot of age group podiums, and then this year some things changed, and that kind of bumped you into elites, and you got into that category a few times this year. So you're kind of having a great year, aren't you?
Yeah, I figured out a lot about my training over the years, just from getting out there and hitting the trails up, and I learned a lot over the years, and um, I have a very unique style of training. I do a lot of like land-based training, and I have a lot of I create my own running trails, and I do a lot of swimming and a lot of stationary biking and mountain biking and road biking, and yeah, I figured out a lot. Um, I've actually got on a few programs last year. A good friend of mine got me on a program, so that helped out a lot, and it's helping me stay consistent with my training. And yeah, I do a strength training program and a running program, and I just got onto a biking program right now.
And
Nice.
what were you doing before Spartan? I mean, you did come in quite adapted and quite fast. So did you have a lot of sports
I was
background?
always athletic. I played a lot of hockey and stuff, but like I did some running, but I never ran like this before. Also, I used to smoke cigarettes too, so I didn't really like run too much. And then I started running like 4 years ago again, and I'm like, you know what? I like this more than smoking, and I gave up smoking and I started running.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I've watched Spartan before. I remember like 8 years ago, like I've seen it and I knew about it, but I was like, because of the smoking, I'm like, yeah, probably wouldn't do good in that. But then once I started running, gave up the smoking, and my time started getting faster. I started getting faster. I checked out Spartan again on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? Like, I can hang with these guys. I can race with these guys. And I came into the sport, and like it looked easy on YouTube. Honestly, it looked easy. And then when I got
It
into the
does look.
sport, I was like, holy shit, this sport's insane. I love this sport.
It's a
It's really
very humbling experience. I had the same thing. First time you're like, oh yeah, how hard can it be? You're just running up a hill and doing some monkey bars. And then you
yeah,
run up that hill and do the monkey bars and you're like, damn, this is way harder than it looks on the internet. It's very
yeah, for
humbling,
sure.
humbling
So
experience. So
I'm always
yeah,
amazed how fast people can run up the hill personally. Like I
yeah.
personally, I run fast down the hills, so I just try to make up a ton of time running fast. It always blows me away, like watching people just pass me, and I'm like, I am in great shape, and I cannot even keep up with this. So,
Jordan, what would you say is your like strength within the race? Is it the running? Is it the hills? Is it the obstacles? What do you think is your
Well,
secret weapon?
the way I train is very versatile. Like I do strength training, so I do push, pull, legs and core. So like say on a Monday I'll do push, and then on Tuesday I'll do pull, and then on Wednesday will be legs and core, and then Thursday will be a break. and then Friday we'll go right back to push, and then it's like that all month. So it's very
Mhm.
consistent, and that's just the strength training. So I'm very strong, but then like the running program, I like to run from Monday to Friday. I Last year I was able to train 14 hours a day, but this year I'm working, so I can only train about 6 to 7 hours, maybe sometimes 8 hours.
My
Per
gosh.
But
day.
yeah, so with the running, like I like to do my LTs, my long distance runs, light pace in the mornings, and then in the evenings I do my threshold runs. But
Whoa.
yeah, um and then I'd have swimming in there too. So I would do like swimming 3 times a week. And then I would do the biking and the stationary biking and then even jump on the assault bike. So the way I'm training, it's like I'm good I'm good everywhere. Like I'm good running, I'm good at the lifts and the carries. And then I do a lot of grip training too. So my hands, because that used to be one of my weaknesses. I used to go into obstacles and slip, or I wasn't able to make it up ropes and stuff. But
Mhm.
I've mastered the technique of getting up ropes. There's a military base not too far from here,
Oh,
and they have
nice.
a sportsplex there, and it's open to the public. So I do a lot of my training there, and they have ropes to climb up and whatnot.
Oh, cool.
And
So
you were saying that you cut your own trails or you make your own trails? What is
yeah, so I make my own trails like here in Pikwakanagan. Like we live in the valley, but like we're surrounded by mountains. So
cool?
there's literally mountains everywhere you look, and there's hiking trails, and I go I started hiking them, and then I started making trails like deeper into the mountains, and I have like literally like hundreds of different trails that I run on. But one of my favorite areas, it's really mountainous and real hardcore terrain. It's hard to run in, and that's where I like to do all my training because it's high intensity,
Mhm.
hills, huge downs, and just like you're running through like bush. And I think it's the best style for training for Spartan because when you run a Spartan, you're not running on grass, you're running like bush, mud, like everything. So
Yeah.
when I run up in that particular area, like I call it the grid because I've created like trails up there and like kind of like in a grid format. And I have about 10 trails right now, probably about 25 kilometers worth of trail, like with the 8 trails that I have. And I want to keep going deeper and even create grids in different areas. And yeah, I do all my training up there, and I also bring friends and family up there too.
Yeah, I was
And I'm
just
Oh,
actually
wondering
that's so fun.
if
training my kids right now too. Like they love Spartan, they do Spartans.
Aw, how old are your kids?
I have 6 kids. My oldest girl is 16, and then I have 11-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter, and then a 4-year-old daughter.
oh my
Aw.
Or
goodness.
no, a 5-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old daughter.
Oh
And
my goodness.
they're all into sport Spartan, and I got them running LTs because like that's all they need. They don't need to run fast right now. They just need to run slow.
Yeah,
And
no, I
that's
love
what I
that.
use. That's what I do for building endurance for the sport too.
Mhm.
I figured it out like over the years is to run the long distance. They call that zone two running, like run the long distance at a slow pace. But because I've been doing it for so long now that my pace is no longer what it was before.
Mhm.
So I have like 3 or 5 different pace, like light pace, like not the threshold runs, just my LTs I call them.
Yeah.
And I got my kids doing that right now too. So
That's
Amazing.
awesome. I love seeing kids get into this, at such a young age. My little guy started when he was 4 too. He's now 6. So he's done
amazing.
a couple of years. So tell us, I'm just curious. I mean, you have a lot of mountains to train in. What's been your favorite race to date? What's your favorite distance? Short, long? Have you done an ultra? Tell us a
My
little bit more
favorite
about that.
my favorite race was Kelowna, BC. I've never been out there.
That was
That was a crazy experience, crazy fun experience. Beautiful territory to run in.
Hmm.
And
And
I'm pretty sure I even
goodness.
seen like grizzly bear claws in the trails and a few spots there, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, probably. I believe that.
Yeah, and for for distance, my favorite distance before was the Beast, the 21K, but this year just hasn't really been my year for 21Ks. I did a marathon in Ottawa there, and then after that marathon, I tried putting on too many kilometers because I decided that I wanted to be a marathon runner and an ultra runner, like, but then I ended up tearing something in my knee. I
Oh,
ended up,
crap.
yeah, it set me back. Last year I did the same thing and it took me like 6 months to heal from that. And this year I did the same thing, but I know how to heal faster now, like just stretching, using the area and just
Hmm.
being positive, but mainly active recovery.
Yeah.
So 21K hasn't really been my race this year, but it's my funnest. I love doing it. It's like it's epic. Like
Hmm.
it's so much fun. But right now, I'm a little bit heavier. I'm about 170, 173. Normally when I run the beast, I like to be 165, 160, extremely cut. Um, I'll only be at 160 if I made sure I made all my big heavy lifts and my programming and stuff. But right now I'm at 170, 173, and I like it. I'm really powerful and strong at this weight, and
Hmm.
I can hold a fast pace at doing 10Ks and 5Ks. Like I think that's what I might do in for the Blue Mountain. I might just do the 10 and 5 and then maybe do the 5 a couple more times for practice, like obstacle practicing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the kids are going too?
Sorry, what's that?
Are all the kids going as well for Blue Mountain?
My no, only my one daughter is coming because she's more committed than the other kids, and she's been putting a lot of training in with her other friend Patience. So Patience will be coming too, and they actually won their first race in Calabogie. They
Oh,
came first and
Oh,
second. So
that's
yeah,
awesome. Shout out to them. I love
yeah,
that.
I got them running on one of my trails, one of a really good running trail that me and my training partner Darcy there. We started off running that trail, so it's an epic trail, and they're not running the whole thing yet, but I got them running 3K in, 3K out, LT paced, and their LT paced was like I was breaking a sweat running like at their LT pace. I was like, holy shit, girls! Like they're just it's incredible to see them. Like my daughter, she's only 7 years old, and I
wow.
told her mom, I'm like, I swear Autumn's like changing. Like these LTs are like transforming her into an athlete.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't wait to see where she's gonna take it in the future.
As a
Oh,
7 year
that is so
only.
cool.
Yeah.
Starting them young. I just love that you're immersing them. Every time I hear somebody immersing their kids into like fitness and sports so early, I'm just like all for it because they learn just so much confidence and like self-belief and like so many
Yeah.
things they can't learn in school. They learn by going through the process of like running, trails, racing, all those things.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, that's why Spartan is it's awesome because they get to experience it like showing up to the event,
mhm.
seeing the people, feeling the atmosphere. It's nothing but good vibes. And I tell them I'm like Spartan, like it gives us a reason to train, like Spartan it keeps us strong, it keeps us dialed, it keeps us focused and keeps us healthy. I tell my kids that all the time. And it just gives them a reason to train. I just want them to train.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's
the ultimate goal is just getting them to keep showing up, right? And then the Spartan's just the thing that brings them back. And I mean, it's really cool though because it keeps it fun, it keeps it exciting, and it keeps us coming back, right? Because I mean, you never really get the same race course, but that's kind of also the exciting part is Spartan's just constantly shaking things up and making us be like, wonder what we're gonna get this time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
I like that
yeah.
we get to show them a positive community of all ages too. I don't think that they see that as much in the schools and in a lot of communities, they play with the same age friends and adults stick with adults. But I find in the Spartan community, you're seeing racers of all ages and everyone's excited for them. So I like that aspect as well. I'm sure they appreciate seeing their dad get on podiums and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they love it. It's awesome.
I've
Let's
seen
talk about podiums. How many podiums have you had this year? Let's talk about it.
Me?
Yeah.
Geez, I'm not even sure. Honestly, like I feel like last year was better for me because I had 14 hours a day to train and I was just so consistent with everything. And this year, just coming off the injuries and stuff, I didn't feel like it was quite my year, but I still made podiums down in Red Deer. Um, what did I place? I think I came first in my age category for the 10K, but like sixth or something. Like because I always run with elites now.
Mhm.
It's another thing. Like last year, I felt like I wasn't good enough, and then I'm just like, you know what? Just run with them, see where you're at, and then like I just run with them now, and I just stay there, and it's good because we push each other.
I was gonna say it helps to elevate your game when you're running with those
Yeah,
who are also, pushing
I got
you, you're
yeah,
pushing them. It just creates that back and forth, but then you ultimately elevate each other's race. So that's awesome.
yeah, and it's just like I'm not trying to be better than anyone else. I'm just trying to see how good I can take it in the sport because
Mhm.
like this sport just keeps blowing my mind. Like every time I think that I've met every runner in the sport, like because us as athletes, we try to like feel each other out and see where our competition's at, but like there's always somebody there always just seems to be somebody just so much better, and then it's like okay, so I gotta raise the bar and take it there.
Yeah, and the men's field for Spartan Canada is there's a lot in the top 10 that really battle it
Mhm.
out, and it's quite exciting. I wish
Yeah.
that I got to see the finishes. I'm usually way behind in the same race, but
Yeah,
but I love
you
to
run the
see
ones in
yeah,
do you
I
run the
usually do
ones here in
elites. I
Canada?
usually do the second wave after elites because I sometimes I just like to kind of go and not think about what everybody else is doing. So that's kind of
Yeah,
I like that personally.
yeah.
But I would love to see some of the finishes for the men because I know Brimacombe was like four or five of the guys were within a minute of each other.
Yeah, I was just behind those guys. I
Yeah,
came off fast there, came off a little too fast, and I think I came sixth that day or something. But
yeah,
that was my first elite ever, and I thought I was gonna get my butt kicked, but I was near the front. I was in second place for a while there. Yeah, that was a
Was
lot of
that for
fun.
the 10 or the 5? Or both?
That was for the 10. And then the
Yeah.
5, I was a lot sluggish. It
And
was more
in a
sluggish.
10K, there should be some more distance in a race like that. 5K, you stick together a little bit. Makes sense to be a few seconds off, but a 10K, that was a battle.
Mhm. That's a long time to battle too. I had a race like that where I was going back and forth, and we actually thought we were fighting for second, not knowing that some chick was, I don't know where she went. She was up, I guess she was at the start line. None of us saw her. So we thought we were duking it out for second place, me and this one girl. Yep, turns out we were duking it out for third because this chick, I don't know. And at the end, we're all like, where was she? Like, was she in the heat ahead of us? But anyway, she must have
So
just
what
been real
races did
fast.
you make this year, Amber?
I actually primarily focused on DECA this year. So DECA
Deca?
is
I've
part
never
of
been
the
to
Spartan
Deca.
brand. Oh, DECA is definitely my primary focus in the Spartan umbrella right now. But up until this year, I was doing lots of different races. Spartan for me is definitely more like a 5K, 10K. I'm more of like an explosive, powerful athlete. So the Beast, I enjoy it, but I don't know if it's ever going to be like my race, if I'm being honest. The 10K is a good distance for me though, because it's long enough that my endurance can still hang, and I can usually make some moves on the uphills actually, surprisingly. So people start to wear out on those in the 10K, and I don't, so it's great.
Amber, you and I need to do we have never started together. You and I need to start together because I'll just let you go up the hill and see if I can catch you on the downhills.
I go hot every time. Like I am notorious for going out hot. But it's fine as long as you can hang on to it. So who cares?
She
What
can.
about you, Jill? What races did you do this year?
I've done pretty much all of the Canadian Spartans, and I've done
Did
like
you?
every race available that weekend,
Yeah.
basically.
You went out to Red
Oh,
Deer too
except,
there?
sorry, I shouldn't say that. I mean, over in Eastern Canada, in the summer, I'm quite busy, so I can't really fly anywhere quickly. So we've got the two races, Red Deer and Kelowna, I was not able to get to, but they are bucket lists. So basically, Brimacombe, Ottawa, Tremblant, and then I'll be doing Blue Mountain as well. So
Oh,
I
nice.
try to race everything times as many as I can because we have so little, right? So
I know.
Yeah, I wish there would be more. I mean,
yeah.
Ontario's a pretty big place. I wish we could, if it was possible to get more Spartans in Ontario, that'd be cool.
Well,
I
the more
know.
the community thrives, the more chances we get to have that
Yeah.
happen to us. So we know they're always in the works with new locations and new places and things. So I am crossing my fingers
Yeah.
for that too. Or put Red
That's
Deer.
why you just gotta sprinkle some Deca in there
Yeah, and
in the in
Yeah.
between.
I heard Jordan say that he has an assault bike, or at least one
I
available
know.
to him. So
Yeah.
I mean,
And I also heard him say he likes strength training. So I mean,
Yeah,
Deca seems
I
like
mean, I like it all, every style of training. I'm an addict for training. I love it.
yeah. No, would you try it out? Have you looked it up yet?
I've seen a little bit on YouTube there.
Yeah.
It's just it looks like a lot of circuit training,
yeah,
right?
Uh,
But like a racing though, like circuit style racing.
it's like think of it like it is like a race in the like in when you go to World Championships, they set it up so awesome, so it legitimately is a race. It's super exciting, especially like being an athlete like in the field. It was such an awesome experience the way they set it up last year. But when you do it at like an affiliate gym where you would probably go get your Deca Strong or your Deca Miles, it's basically just you versus you. You're doing the 10
Really?
zones for time, and it's basically giving yourself a benchmark, but then that gets uploaded into the global leaderboard so you can see where you rank globally as well. So it's
Oh
really
wow.
kind of cool. A, just as a training tool, but B, competitively as well. If that's, well, you're competitive, so you would enjoy the competitive side of it as well. But a lot of people will just start with it as a benchmark and then, again, just try and beat themselves. But there's
Yeah.
a lot of competition now heating up the Deca leaderboards, and it's so exciting to see.
I
Yeah, yeah.
personally like it because I love Spartans a lot, and I like to be really great at those as best as I can. But I like DECA because it actually elevates everything for me in
Mm-hmm.
Spartans. So, and
Mm-hmm.
they're very different, but it's almost like a threshold workout that I throw into my training weekly so that I'm sharp for DECA, and then that is just so helpful when I'm trying to chase people up the hill.
Yeah.
So I could see you doing it. I could see
Do you do any hill sprints to help you with the hills?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
I get up. I live near basically the ski resorts in Ontario. I've got 5 minutes away from Mount St. Louis, and then I'm also really close to Blue Mountain as well. So I
Oh, that's awesome.
up there twice a week. So yeah, or
That's awesome. I can't wait for Blue Mountain. That's a lot of fun. I didn't make it last year because of the injury, but
oh, okay. Well, you missed a hilarious mudslide show.
yeah, is there lots of mud there?
It was
Usually,
insane.
I
So
went there,
usually.
I
it
think it
can
was
be
two
very
years ago, and I did the beast, and I was 205 pounds, I think. Oh, I think it was 3 years ago, actually. It was, I think it was my second time doing no, it was my first time doing a beast. Yeah, it was my first time doing a beast, and that
mhm.
was crazy.
At Blue Mountain. Blue Mountain's a tough one because it's pretty vertical. Like, you're getting
Yeah.
some good inclines at Blue. Especially like you turn the corner at the very start, you're like, oh, this is fun. And then you turn the corner and you're like, oh,
There's
let's
more.
just
Yeah.
straight up this
But
hill, right?
I'm actually getting to a place where now I can run a beast and all my leg muscles don't pull out anymore. So like,
Mhm.
yeah, it feels good to come that far to be able to just run a threshold run and not worry about your legs pulling out. Though my
Mhm.
legs did pull out and my calf muscles did pull out in the Kelowna race.
Oh,
I was doing pretty good, and then I hit like 14K. There was like this massive climb, and yeah, I had a hard time on that mountain. But there was this one guy who passed me, or he was doing the ultra, and I pulled my leg muscle, and he's like, "Hold on!" He comes over and like helps me and pulls my foot up where it like went back in place.
oh,
And before I took off, he's like, "Hold on, I got something for you." And he like gave these magnesium pills, but it helped.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
People on
shout
the
out to
Spartan Hill
Devin.
are just the best. Like, you're never really, you can be racing by yourself, but you're never really alone. There's always somebody like willing to just jump in and help. Like, you see things like that happen
Yeah, yeah,
all
for
the
sure.
time. Like, just racers just helping racers. I
And
love that. That's awesome.
also like it was pouring rain that day too, and I had a sweater on and I wasn't really prepared for it. I probably should have put on like a rain jacket. And during that run, like after kilometer like 5 or 6 of just inclining up, I decided to take my sweater off, and that was a bad idea because it got really cold, and I felt like I'd almost felt like I got hypothermia. Was about to get hypothermia.
you might have.
Hmm.
I Well, it was close. But just like well, just because I'm not used to that high elevation,
Right.
like I normally only run like 400 meters tops, right?
And
Right.
that's something you
And it
have
was,
to experience too before you can learn to put on the proper clothing and be organized. Because, like, you can tell somebody, yeah, it's going to get cold, your body temperature is going to lower, you're going to get a little slower because you're climbing. And so
hmm,
you're not going as fast and sweating as much. And the temperature is so much different. And you can say that all you want, but until you felt that chill and that horrifying kind of scary feeling, you will not do it. And now that you've learned that,
yeah.
you probably
And
have
it
leggings
was
and
like my arms. I couldn't even use it felt like my arms were just like jello. Like
Hmm.
I couldn't even pull myself up. Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched the video, but I was at the end trying to get myself up the ramp there and I couldn't do it.
my
But I
goodness.
eventually did it.
The one thing I've learned, just doing because I've done some overnight stuff with Tough Mudder and stuff, is
Yeah.
to keep if you can keep your hands warm, you are in a good place. So I actually
Yeah.
take heat packs on those crazy either overnights or in anything that's too wet, just because if your hands are warm, you can still grip everything, right? So I find as soon as your hands are cold, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Yeah, it's a
That's
horrible
why I
feeling.
like Spartan though. It's challenging, right?
Yeah, and yeah, like I said,
You're up against the elements.
yes, and you were probably at Tremblant 2 years ago when it was like a blizzard, basically.
Yeah, I was there for that too. It was like that, but a lot more colder.
Uh, yeah. So
Yeah.
you
I
learn.
wonder why they're not I didn't see BC in the calendar for next year.
It may not be up yet, so usually everything's decided by the end of the year. So let's cross our
Hmm.
fingers that that's happening. I haven't heard that it's not coming, so I don't know
Hmm.
if
I
you
might be going to Big Bear in the spring.
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great. And also
Yeah.
for the the trifecta championships is going to be in the States this year. I
Hmm.
think it is North Carolina or I, I'm not.
They they announced it, but yeah, I'm
Yes.
having brain fart on that too. I've been pretty like into the Deca world this last week. So, okay, speaking of next year, what are your goals for next year, Jordan? What do you got?
I just I wanna like I have the formula and I just need the time to make my runs faster, my times faster. I want to see like how good I can do next year. I want to try to get because I still haven't got my first place elite yet. So I want to get that, and I know there's about 3 guys, 4 guys that are way better than me. But like I said, I have the formula. All I'm missing is time. Like I need to find the time to get those LTs in. Those are very essential. for running faster. And I feel like the rate I'm going now, like I'll be so much better because everything's going so well for me. I haven't had an injury in so long. I got it all figured out, and I just got to yeah, like I said, put on more kilometers before my threshold runs. I still do my threshold runs, but it's important to get those LTs in.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
love that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I love that. And I mean, it's interesting because I know you're like, oh, they're better than me. I always say, you know what, it's any man's race when they step up to that starting line because
Yeah,
you're
that's
out there
true.
putting in the work too.
Yeah,
They're putting in the work,
anything can happen.
and
It's who
anything
wants
can
it more.
happen. It's who wants it more and who's going to put together the best race on that day at that time. But I always say, you know what, like when you step up there, like you're all capable of winning, especially like that men's field this year is just out of this world. Like there's so much like just
No,
um
I love it. I love preparing for a race. Like it's epic. Like just doing these big training blocks, building into a
yeah.
race, and then coming into a race, looking my best and like peaking, like being at the very top of my peak. And then after race weekend, go into a deload week where it's 5 days of no strength training, no threshold runs. It's just cross training, like LTs on my bike or LTs in
Mhm.
the mountains, like just light stuff.
And is this stuff,
Yeah.
are you a trainer as well? Because everything that you were talking about sounds very familiar to coaches and trainers.
Yeah, like I said, me and my buddy, we did a lot of research on the internet, and we came up with this program together, and I call it the Champion Program. And I was on it last year, and it involves the 10 runs a week, which is the long run in the morning, finished with the threshold run in the evening. So the threshold run is like say a 10K, but it's all out. Like it's almost like a sprint, you know?
Mm.
And then so yeah, like my friend Darcy there, like we just we figured out a really good program, and I know it works. I just need time, and I need to
Mhm.
not be injured, and I'm not injured, so I'm coming into the winter. I'm willing to because I'm already back on the program. I'm back on the strength program. I haven't missed any of my strength lifts in 5 weeks, and I'm just building back up to my running program. So the running program is literally Monday to Friday, but like in the morning, in the evening, and um, lately it's just been like like 4 runs or 5 runs. Like I'm not getting those 10 runs in, but
I can
by
just
next year.
out in the mountains on these really crazy, awesome trails. Like it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do
Well,
bring people and start selling that, and then
Yeah,
sell
honestly. Oh
the
yeah,
program, and
yeah.
then
that's what I meant
change
to.
jobs, and you'll get extra time.
Yeah, well, see, that's my goal is to do good in the sport, and then you know, like you said, eventually be a trainer because I've learned so much knowledge of how to train with the dieting and the strength training and the running program and the swimming program, and I've just learned so much, and I have so much to like to teach. And
Mhm.
it's definitely something that I'm working on. Like I'm working on. For me, it's really big. It's you know, it's like building the trails, bringing people up there, getting people to like to train like me, to sleep like me, to eat like me, to do everything like me. And like I'm gonna call it the Kohoko Experience. That's my last name, and
I like that.
it's just a very unique style of training, and a lot of it is like ancestral training. Like I started thinking like, well, how would my ancestors think? Because I'm just trying to be really successful in the sport. So I have to
Mhm.
do something that no one else is doing. And my ancestors, they used to run mountains, they used to swim lakes, they used to run valleys, they used to run 100 Ks through the mountains. So I'm trying to do what they did. I am doing what they're doing, like what they did. And that's what I want to sell. I want to sell, like, you know, I want to get people up there, get people to train the Kohoko experience.
That
And
sounds really fun.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Like I said, it's a very unique style of training and almost like a barbaric way of training. Like
Mhm.
training, not using, well, I use weights, like I'm in the gyms, but in like on the territory, you just use what you have. Like you use rocks for carries and logs for carries, and you're
Yeah.
using rock cliffs as walls because some of my trails, they like you have to jump up rocks and jump over massive trees and just it's pretty fun. It's a lot of
That's
fun.
so
That
cool.
sounds like the exact
Well,
that I like to do. And I love
yeah, no,
you're bringing in the ancestral connection as well too. I
Mhm.
hear lots of people, especially this generation, is really trying to connect to their roots, and I love hearing that. People have such amazing stories if we're listening, so that's really cool. I think that would
mhm.
be an interesting thing to hear all about as well.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, you know what, it sounds like you've got such an awesome experience to be able to pay it forward when the time comes. And I mean, obviously you've got the structure, you've got the mindset, you've got the discipline and focus and the dedication. I have no doubt we're gonna see you on that first place podium very soon. So
Yeah,
thank you
maybe,
so much for being on here with us tonight.
perfect. Yeah, same
Before we
here.
wrap it up, can you tell us where everybody can connect with you to follow your journey? Instagram, Facebook, what's the best way for them to follow along?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Jordan Two-Axe Kohoko. Um, you guys can reach out. Like I have like I said, I have trails. I'm looking for people to train with. I have we're thinking about starting a running group actually, like our own running club, and I'm willing to help like other people in the sport get better at the sport and stuff too. So yeah.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. You heard it from him, you guys. Reach out, follow along for his journey because I'm pretty sure he's just getting started. So
Thanks, guys.